Thank you guys so much for being here, and for my great panel there. It's like having a phone a friend right here with me. Jeremy Mathis from UAF, Dr. Thomas Hurst, also from NOAA, and Jeffrey Short, who's the Pacific Science Director with Oceana. So we have questions from our audience. This could be good, and you never know what they're going to ask, but I told them not to waste them on you. So here's one. How does Murkowski's fight with the EPA affect the ocean and commercial fishing in Alaska? Jeff?
The government has a basic responsibility to protect the citizens from the effects of pollution. And we have laws. We have the Clean Air Act to do that. If Congress is not going to deal with the adverse effects of putting carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and we know that it's having them, we're melting the ice pack and we're acidifying the oceans. Congress should stay out of the way of the administration and let the administration get on with its job.
All right. If you were able to date one of Scott Brown's daughters, which one would it be?
We're all married. We're not allowed to date anybody's daughter.
Who's Scott Brown?
Oh, I love that. Oh, if only I could go back to those innocent days. Who's Scott Brown? I would. When my fish tank water gets too acidic, I add a pH balancing chemical. Can we add a pH balancing chemical to our oceans?
No. Scale's too big.
Yeah, what we're going to have to do is get the moon and grind it up and sprinkle it in. That's why. But it's an obvious. It's a great question. Like,
And
okay,
I
well,
get that a lot, but
can we fix it? This isn't. We're not making a cocktail here. To Jeremy, were you on television as a young boy?
No, I was not. I think that's the Jerry Mathis Leave It to Beaver, which I get all the time. But no, I was not. That was a little bit before my time.
A little bit, yes. So today's Supreme Court decision, Citizens United versus Federal Election Commission. Any thoughts?
I thought people walked and talked. I don't get it that all of a sudden we can create people based on how much money we have.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. The Supreme Court at one point made a decision, when they made the decision that corporations had personhood. Today they basically decided that money has the right to speak. The First Amendment now applies to money. So at this point it's really difficult because all the people that are polluting, that we want the EPA to stop from polluting, that are doing the things that you're doing and really affecting the science that keeps us all here, they can just buy whatever they want now. Welcome to America. It's with a K. Yes. I heard a rumor you're back on the radio. Is it true? Well, don't believe every rumor you hear, but this one's true. Yes, I am. I'm on KUDO every day from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and you can stream at KUDO1080.com. There you go. Little plug. What is the effect of methane on acidification? Methane as in cow farts.
Well, that's a little bit harder to quantify. Methane is a much stronger greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, so it could warm the planet. And as Jeff said previously, the major ocean acidification event in the past has been due to methane. So it will likely cause increased acidification.
All right. In the Under Alaskan Seas expedition, students will see corals and sponges with the ROVs. That's so exciting. And the baby crab and fish and shrimp and the little cute pteropods. Dad's panels for pteropods. Sharing that live in the water. What happens to Alaskan corals when the waters are acidified?
That's a good question. I think people only really recognizing the diversity of Alaskan deep water corals, cold water corals, and so there's actually a little bit of research beginning to be done right now. So we don't really know, but it is one of the primary objectives to find out for ocean acidification research in Alaska.
Are you able to know? I mean, there hasn't been a lot of research on Alaskan coral. I don't believe so.
No.
You don't know if it's been depleted or not at this point. Or can you tell? Is
Well,
it just a bunch
those
of dead
experiments
coral
can be
there?
done in the lab where you expose these corals to higher CO2 levels in the lab and you see how they do. And they may be an example because they do exist in a deeper, colder, higher CO2 environment, which may be what the planet, the water's closer to the surface is facing. So they may be a good indicator of how the corals could respond in a higher CO2 world.
Okay, so would it be a waste of public funds to do crab restoration projects? Huh. Or like, you know, the different clam restoration projects that they've done as well. If everything's just going to be doomed to dissolve, God, sort of. Just say no. Just tell me. Give me some hope. I need hope and change, and I'm not getting it anywhere else. You're my guy.
There is definitely hope. Just think about it. We know exactly what causes this problem. It's putting CO2 in the air. And so we know exactly how to fix it, get CO2 out of the air. And we can do that by, every person can do two things. You can start looking for ways to not put CO2 in the air yourself, and you can get politically active to support legislators and representatives who will encourage our nation to transform our economy away from burning stuff for energy and getting our energy from somewhere else. And we have lots of somewhere else's to get it. It's just a matter of getting on with it. We can fix it if we want to.
And you guys can hardly nod, I know, because you're very, and I really have a lot of respect for that, because I think your science shouldn't be affected by the politics of things. Yeah. Even if they were being affected by my politics, I don't want them to. I want to know that the science is the science. So I appreciate both of you coming on and thinking that I wasn't going to trick you. So that's sort of, this is another question. This is depressing. What can an individual do? And you answered that. Is there anything that you want to add that's not about being maybe politically active, but what do you do? What do you do in your own life to make this maybe a little bit less?
Well, for me personally, my life is actually researching the effects of ocean acidification. So I think one of the things that we need to do is to continue to support that research. So that's what I do, and that's what Jeremy does.
We drive cars and we fly in airplanes, but we try to.
But you don't burn piles of tires.
No, we're aware of the fact, and you can do your part. Everybody, this is going to have to be a grassroots sort of bottom-up effort in terms of conservation and being cognizant of the impacts that we have on the environment. So,
right,
so every little bit counts.
You don't have to do it because you love a hippie. You can do it just because you don't want to kill the planet.
Right, it's good for all of us.
I mean, it's not a wussy thing to do. Nothing's going to shrink if you recycle, I promise. All right. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Thank you to my panel. You guys were absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm still on my Save the Pteropods kick. I'm not getting off of it, don't worry. I think there's something there. All right, so join us next week or on Thursday at Bernie's, and you can be part of our panel. Thanks so much.